We all can agree that raising a family in these times is challenging. With everything being so exposed and accessible through social media and the influence that come along with it, how do we find the balance? Does your child feel confined and has no outlet?
Sasha, meet me in the bathroom so we can take our Instagram pics. Because you know once I get home, they won't let me out.
Would your child come to you when they need help?
Mom, I'm in trouble and I don't know what to do.
Do you know the signs when your child is crying out for help?
Nicholson, you don't listen. The school has called me and now I have to attend another school meeting. This time you lose your video games for 2 months.
Do you and your family need access to resources?
I lost my job. How will we get our bills paid?
Does your family have expectations and boundaries for mutual respect and understanding?
I am the man of the house, but my family does not respect me.
Finally, a show where families can feel supported and get resources for guidance during these troubled times. Presented to you by Good News Community Action. Family Matters, a radio show, aired every Saturday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. A new segment discussing all things and situations relating to families. Family Matters Discussions, a radio show for everyone to listen together.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Family Matters, the radio show presented to you by Good News Community Action. My name is Elna. I'm your hostess. Is it host or hostess?
Hostess. You are the hostess.
It sounds
The
like
hostess of the
if you
mostest.
say hostess, it sounds like I don't know, like
You're you're
a fancy
bartender
restaurant or
like that.
something, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're just gonna say I'm the host, okay? And we have in the studio our co-host Monty.
Hello, and welcome everybody who are listening. We welcome you. Happy to have you here.
And we're gonna have Gregory Jean with us because guess what? Today is financial literacy Saturday. So we're gonna be presenting to you information on finances. That's going to be very helpful for you and your family. Bonsoir tout le monde, moi c'est Elna, moi content pour ensemble avec nous encore dans Affaires Famille. Ça c'est programme qui est présenté pour de Radio Bonne Nouvelle, Good News Community Action, non-profit organisation qui part pour profit de Radio Bonne Nouvelle chaque samedi 4h pour 5h et puis répétez encore dimanche 3h pour 4h. Moi je suis ensemble avec moi Monty, co-host moi, et puis plus tard nous avons gagné Gregory Jean qui va venir ensemble avec nous pour parler ensemble avec nous de affaires finances pour famille qui est vraiment important, un paquet de bonnes informations que nous avons gagné pour aujourd'hui. Nous allons discuter qui gens qui ont comprendre ça les crédit score, ça veut dire numéro crédit en monde. Nous allons partager ça, nous avons toute information, nous gagnons nous tout qui numéro qui bon, qui numéro qui pas bon, et puis qui qualité information qui dans rapport crédit tout le monde qui sorti dans 3 bureaux crédit dans États-Unis. So we're here again this afternoon. I want to tell you about the ways to listen to our program. You can go to goodnewsradiotv.com or WYGG Good News Radio, or if you don't have the internet, you want to just dial in and just listen, you can just dial 1-518-906-1596 so you can listen to us. And when you are on Facebook listening to us, we want you to give us a thumbs up, like us, leave a comment, and subscribe if there's a way to subscribe, because I do believe there's a YouTube channel as well. You could just Google all that and find WYGG's social media platform so you can follow us on social media. Again, This is an interactive show, so we like people to call in. We like you to ask questions. So we are asking you to call in to 732-775-0220 or 732-775-0225 if you have any questions for us during
comments.
Or a comment, or just call and conversate with us. We
Exactly.
love
Call
to
and
talk
say
to
hey.
people. Map di nou ki jan pou nou katande, si ke nou genyen internet, nou ka ale nan Good News Radio TV.com ou bien nou ka ale nan Facebook, paske m konen gen paket moun ki utilize Facebook. Nou ka sou Facebook pou nou katande program nan WYGG Good News Radio, ou bien si ke nou vle rele sou numero telefon 518-906-1596 pou nou katande program nan sa bon tou. Si ke nap tande sou Facebook, nou bezwen pou nou kite yon ti note pou nou leve ti men nou pou nou di ke nou reme program nan e pi suiv nou sou Facebook. Okay, so now Good News Radio, Radio Bonne Nouvelle, right, has a wonderful program that's coming up in August, right? They're celebrating their 29th anniversary fundraising banquet, which is going to be Sunday, August 27th at 6 p.m. It's going to be at the Living Word Fellowship Center. It's located at 81 Route 35 in Neptune. They have a special musical guest, Roger Colas Jr., who's going to be there to bring the hot piping music. Everybody's going to get up on their feet and start dancing and have a good time, right? So if you need information on how to get your tickets, call the radio station. Phone number 732-775-0220 or 732-775-0225. Radio Bonne Nouvelle a célébré 29 anniversaire, la fait un fundraising banquet dimanche 27 août à 6 heures du soir. Dans Living Word Fellowship Center dans Neptune, 81 route 35 dans Neptune. Et puis il y a un spécial moun ka vin jouer musique, band la ka vin jouer Roger Colas Jr. Si que nous besoin plus d'informations de tickets nous qui gens pour nous acheter tickets ou bien get tickets en avance ou bien combien comme ticket a coûté pour grand monde, pour petit monde. Radio Bonne Nouvelle sur numéro de téléphone 732 775 0220 732 775 0225. Nous besoin tout le monde débarquer dans l'église Living Word là dans jour ça 27 août là pour nous célébrer radio. Radio sont vraiment important ressources que nous gagnons dans la communauté et pas toute communauté qui a radio payo qui au carré c'est radio payo côté yo jeune monde qui parler dans langue yo ba yo information ou carré pour voir bel message pour famille tout bagay et pas tout le monde qui gagne bagay ça sont bon bagay que nous gagnons nous supposé supporter li moi ta remet pour tout le monde chercher connaître qui gens qui nous ka venir dans banquet Radio Bonne Nouvelle là 27 août année ça à 6h du soir. All right, so I was just encouraging everybody on supporting the radio and coming to the banquet. So now we're going to talk about our topic, right?
Yes, today's topic is talking about credit scores and why it's important.
So we are waiting for Greg to arrive, but while we're waiting for Greg to arrive, we're going to discuss this right now. Okay, so a credit score,
Right.
if those our listeners who don't know what that is, I don't know who are there people that may not know what a credit score is?
I don't know. We're talking to a wide variety of people, but I think all over the world you're still dealing with credit in some way, form or fashion. But say you're talking to our young listeners and they really don't. They're just stepping out into the world and they really don't have an idea of really what's going on.
Yeah.
I can tell you that when I was younger, one of my biggest things was a problem was taxes. I was working ever since I was 13, 14 years old.
Oh wow!
But I did not
I thought
know.
the age to start working was 14.
Oh, I was
You were working under the table.
No, I was getting a check.
Really?
Yeah, I was getting a check. Yeah,
That was back in the day. There was just stuff like that no more.
Right? And in Detroit. So, like I said, this is here in New
Jersey's
Jersey.
way different than Detroit.
Everybody they want to be involved in everybody's money and everybody's thing, and they want to put their hands and fingers and everything. And
They sure do.
And they want to keep certain ones limited and so forth and so on. So it's a very important thing that to be able. It's a good thing for young people to get out and work and learn what it means to be responsible, to fend for yourselves and produce for yourselves.
Absolutely.
Not to mention, in so many families, especially today, I would predict pretty soon that the laws and the situations are going to change. The legal situations for children, the age of children are able to work, because even right now, Jeremiah and look at how big our kids are.
Yeah.
They're quite capable and able to work. So, they're out there playing football and doing everything else. So they can go get a job too.
Exactly.
Everything is expensive.
Yes.
New Jersey is one of the top expensive states
One of the
in the
most
United States.
expensive, especially this county that we're in, Monmouth County,
Exactly.
is the most
Right.
expensive county to live
Yeah.
in and to raise a
Yeah.
family in the whole state of New Jersey,
Right.
let alone the United States of America.
Exactly.
right?
And it's like, when, it's a good thing especially for a lot of families and a lot of households, if the children can go out and make their own money.
Yeah.
Go out and make money and be able to fend for themselves, or at least help fend for themselves to get certain things that they need, because things are so tight for mom and dad right now. For a lot of people, mom and dad working 2 and 3 jobs just to pay for the mortgage to keep food on the table. So it's very difficult. However, money alone is not enough. And as I was saying, I didn't, as with all the work, working, and I would work hard, work, and I had that ethic and so forth and so on, but I did not know how to do my taxes. And I was trying to find out someone that, could help me or show me or teach me how to get
when
the
you're
taxes
that
done.
young, you don't do your taxes because you're not like 18 and you're not of the legal age to be
I
able to
didn't
do
even
taxes.
know who to go to or to trust.
Your information is included in your parents' taxes. That's how it works. Right? And then that's only if you're
That's
making a
it.
certain amount of money.
Yes.
So if you're not
Right,
even
right.
up to the bracket, I don't know exactly what it is. Like your parents may or may not even need to use your income because it's not that significant. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, well, that's too young. That's too young. But you didn't know how to do your taxes, and that's the thing. There's a lot of stuff that
Yes.
our children are not being taught by their
Exactly.
parents.
Right.
Maybe the parents don't know themselves, and so we need to make sure that we are equipping our kids
Right.
with this little bit of knowledge, by the time they're reaching the age of majority, when everything else is going to be their own responsibility because they've reached the age of majority. They're 18 or 19 or 20, 21
Right.
if they're still in college. And they will need to know how to do these things for themselves because now they're an adult, right? It's
Exactly.
no longer mom and dad is responsible. Like, you get in trouble. Once you're 18, you get in trouble. Yeah, they might give a courtesy call to your parents because you asked for a phone call, and then you're going to tell your parents, oh, I'm locked up, or whatever. But they're not going to call your parents anymore to say, hey, your son did this, I need you to come down here. No, they're not going to do that. They
It all
do that when they're
depends.
minors.
Yeah, it all depends
But
on
when
what
you're
kind
an
of trouble you
adult,
got.
that's
Yeah.
not how it works,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So what is a credit score? A credit score is a number that represents the risk a lender takes when you borrow money. Your credit score shows how likely you are to pay back money you borrow. So I'm going to
Exactly.
say that in Creole. OK? Qui ça un crédit score? Un crédit, numéro crédit. Un numéro crédit, c'est un numéro qui représente risque ou même ou représenté par moun qui prête ou l'argent. Li montre moun qui prête ou l'argent habilité ou pour repérer pour payer l'argent qui a été prêté. Ça veut dire que est-ce que yo ka fò confiance que comme ça yo prêté au lan ou après mettre li ou payer le back. bay moun ki te prêté au kob lan. C'est ça numéro credit score représente. Numéro credit score yo gagné li ka commencé à 300, rive jusqu'à 850. Okay? I'm going to say that in English. The range, the credit score range, right? What do you have there? It's 300 all the way to 850.
Right.
OK? Gen moun ki di, si ke ou genyen credit score ki nan 300, li pa bon. Gen moun ki di, si ou genyen credit score nan 150, nan 550, li pa bon. Gen moun ki di, si ou genyen credit score ki nan 580, li pa bon. Et puis gen ki di, si credit score komanse nan 600, OK, konya ou antijan normal. C'est un coup nan range ça, presque tout le monde dans Amerika ye. OK? Et puis gen ki gen 620, konya wap monte en haut plus 640, oh, wap monte en haut. 700, oh, ou bon net. Et pas vrai? 800, ou c'est ça yo ka di crème de la, how do you say cream of the crops?
Yeah, crème de la crème.
Crème de la crème. Ou c'est crème de la crème
Yeah.
sur go credit score qui nan 800, 850. OK? So, qui est objectif nous? Objectif tout le monde, c'est pour nous travailler sous crédit score nous pour nous ka monter numéro 1 pi haut. Pi haut numéro 1, ça pi bon pour nous parce que là que nous gagnons crédit score qui bien haut, ça veut dire que l'on prêter l'argent, y a prêté l'argent avec un intérêt qui bas. Vous connaissez qui intérêt aujourd'hui, sous besoin acheter un caille, un intérêt qui est considéré un bon intérêt c'est 7%. If you're buying a house, right? Today, yeah, 7% they consider a good interest rate. I remember, back in the early 2000s, right before the crash that happened, and even up until before the pandemic, right? Interest rates was like 2.75,
3 point, and 3 points. Yeah.
And that was the best,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And some people
yeah.
took advantage of that, and they
lot
were
of-
like, refinancing their houses
exactly.
and going for that low interest
Right.
rate. And, and so this is the reason why a lot of homeowners are sitting on a lot of equity right now. They don't want to refinance and take cash out because now to take cash out, you're going to end up with an interest rate, if your credit score is good, with an interest rate of 7.5%, whereas back before the pandemic, it was like 2.75, 2.99, 3%,
Exactly.
If you had a 4% pre-pandemic, you were like, oh, this is too high. But now, like, you're begging for a 4%,
Exactly,
right?
You wish you can't even beg.
Yeah.
You want to beg for 4%.
You want to beg,
You can't.
right.
Those 7.
Right.
Yeah, 7%, 7.1.
Yeah.
That's the low, right?
7.5, they consider that good and low right now.
Yeah.
Because it can be more depending on your credit score, right?
So, and the thing about it is, here's the thing though. I want to break it down a little bit more about the difference between having money and credit score, or what the importance of credit score. Even if you have some money in your pocket, even if you have some money that you saved up, you have a bank account, you have some money that you saved up. So here's the thing. A lot of times, what's like the down payment, that they want you to have on a house?
Okay.
A minimum of 3.5% to 5%.
Right.
Minimum down payment, non c'est quoi? 3% ou 5%?
3.5% si que c'est un FHA loan que wap appliqué.
Right.
Si que c'est conventionnel, they usually want 20% for conventional, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's 20% of what the normal rate of a house is what now?
The normal,
The normal rate is...
the interest rate 7
about
if it's good.
Oh, the normal interest rate? Yeah,
Yes.
7.5%.
7.5%.
Si crédit bon, if your credit is good.
If your credit
Si
is good,
crédit pas
exactly.
bon,
Has to be in the 7.
it's gonna be like,
High 6, low 7s.
Yeah.
So how much now the houses are?
homes are,
Average,
oh my God, 4,
400,
5.
400.
And 3%.
Monmouth County, I would say high 4s,
Yes.
going past
Exactly.
fives. Yeah.
So a lot of people, there's not many people. Oh, and by the way, everybody, I just want to welcome Greg to the
Greg
show.
is here. Hi, Greg.
Even
We're
though
happy to have
we
you.
have to apologize for him being
You
late.
found parking?
Parking is crazy out here
Yung
right now.
pagkat-activity,
It's almost
Josiana, as well.
non-existent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I drove around for about 15-20 minutes trying to find a parking
Me
spot.
too. I drove around for half an hour and then I was like, I'm going back home.
Right. So makes you want to say, "No, I'm done."
Yes.
I'm driving a drone to work tomorrow.
Yes.
Right. So talking about this credit score, unless you have 500,000, 400,000 to drop on a house. Now here's the thing, and I'm saying that's still kind of low when I'm saying 400, 500,000 for a house, right?
Yeah.
Right. So unless you have that kind of money in your account to just drop on a house, right? So even if you did that, you still have things that you want to do to the house or do for the house.
Yes.
You still have to furnish it. You have to. You have things that you want to make it the way you want it to make, so it can be your home.
Yes.
Right. So if you only have 400,000 and to drop on a house, and the house and then you have all these other furnishings and everything else you need to do for the house, then it puts you in a position where you can't do much of anything else. You're sleeping in the corner.
They call that
Right?
being house poor.
Right, house poor, exactly. Which is the point I'm coming to.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
therefore, that's why it's important to have credit. And now get this. Here's something that I need our listeners to understand. You don't want to use cash or your own money to purchase a house. You want to use credit. Keep your money in your account or your bank account, if
Or
you will.
invested if that's what.
Invested,
Or
yes.
invested, right.
Have some sort of working capital.
Exactly.
Because emergencies are going to happen.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So
Especially when
it's
you're
a matter of being prepared for
Mm-hmm.
when or having, something when that emergency happens, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you use we're going to get into other parts of this part of the session.
I want to break down the vintage score.
Okay,
Because
well-
there's two types of scores,
Right,
right?
right.
With the credit score. There's a FICO score
Right.
and there's a vintage score.
Right.
Greg, do you want to break down okay, you'll break down for us
Okay.
the vintage score, okay? What's in the utilization? What's the percentage of the utilization? What's the percentage of the balance? What's the payment history percentage? The age mix of the type of credit, the available credit, and new credit. What does that do? So if anyone doesn't have access to their credit score, there are ways for you to get access to your credit score. If you have just about any credit card now offers that, and they offer it for free, right? Because not every company reports to all three credit bureaus.
No.
And I want to remind everybody that there are three credit bureaus, okay? And there's one major company in the United States that collects all of your information. They call them LexisNexis,
Right.
right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They have everything on us.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Everything on us.
There
Okay.
is-
You
yes.
think you're trying to hide a little something here? Nope. They know about it. Okay. So they collect this information and they share this with the credit bureaus. Okay. So there are three credit bureaus. There's Equifax, Experian,
Right.
and TransUnion.
TransUnion,
Okay. So all three of them, you might find your TransUnion credit report has certain types of accounts in it because your credit card company or your mortgage company or wherever you got your loan for your car, they report to TransUnion.
Yes.
Whereas, TD Bank or Capital One or somebody else might report to Equifax and to the other one, Experian. Okay, so they I don't know what how they decide like which one they're gonna report to, but that's the relationship that they have with that credit bureau.
Right,
It's
right.
probably like, okay, it's less work probably to report
Yeah.
to one versus all three,
Right.
or to just two versus all three. It's probably something like that because you have to hire more people to submit that paperwork. And then we're gonna get to this later on. Consumers have rights, right, under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, where if there's something that's in your credit report that's not accurate, you can write these credit bureaus. You can write to them and say, this is not accurate. You know, I need you to fix this, that, and the third. You write it all down for them. And they have 30 days to do this. If they don't do it in 30 days, they have to delete it, okay?
And in most cases, they are not able to get to it or get it done in 30 days. Because they have
Exactly.
so many situations that they have to work with and deal with. And they
Exactly.
don't, like you said, they don't have the people or the people, the employees.
capacity,
the
right, to
capacity
absorb all
to
that,
do it right.
all that work.
Even if they do agree to remove whatever it is on your credit score,
Right.
you can actually have them mail you a letter first
Right.
before moving forward. And having that
Let's
process.
say some of this in Creole, right?
True.
An nou, nan pe explike ou ki sa ki nan Vintage Score. Nou di gen 3 credit bureau, gen Experian, gen TransUnion, gen Equifax, ok? Sa depan de kompanyi an, ki credit bureau de kredi ke y ap voye informasyon. Chak fwa ou fe on payment, ki credit bureau ke ap voye di, el nan te paye bil Kylie mwa sa, e pi li te paye an lè. Ok? Si ke kompanyi mortgage mwen, yo rapote by TransUnion, y ap voye informasyon sa by TransUnion. E kon sa bagay la mache. Si ke ou genye bil kay, ou gen bil machine, ou gen bil credit card, yo tout ap rapote chak mwa esko paye bil ou an lè by credit bureau yo. E pi credit bureau yo gen system ke yo fet, yo pran numero yo mélange yo, e pi yo vini avèk an pourcentage, e pi pourcentage sa se li menm ki kreye numero kredi yo. Konya Greg ou pa di nou ki sa ki Vintage Score la, you have it. What makes up the Vintage Score? Let's start with the utilization. What percentage of your debt to credit ratio that makes up the Vintage Score?
So the Vantage Score is the credit utilization as all of the same, where, say if you have a credit card, best example, your credit card usually has a Vantage Score of how much you use per month. So say if you use 70% of your credit card, you're considered a risk because it's very high versus someone who uses 30%. The best practice, when using your credit card or whatever it is, the lower the amount of what you owe is better.
Okay.
So sou yon credit card, et puis credit card ou utilize 70%. Ou vle descend li, fè leve à 30%, parce que non pi ba 30%, sa crédit numéro crédit ap monte. Yo pa gade ou tankou
Ou son risk.
Tankou moun ki ap utilize.
E pou pa vle paye, ou pa paye. Parce que kon ki sa moun yo kon fè lè, ou pa paye, yo kon ki sa pa rive lò pa paye, y ap reporte l bay kredi brillant, y ap di kon sa, ou 30 jou en retard, ou pa paye. Le 30 jou an fin pase, kon y ap di, ou gen 60 jou en retard, ou pa paye. Et puis tout temps, yo ap reporte, ou pa paye, kredi ap desan. Kredi ka desan preske 100 points.
Yep.
Si sou ko gon sel fwa ou en retard pour 30 jours.
Oui.
OK?
Pas quitter le rive en 30 jours.
Objectif lan pingo en retard le wapé. Lobe, si que ou crédit important pour, si que ou zon moun crédit pas important pour, ou pas besoin acheter machine, ou pas besoin acheter kay, baron ki jan moun a fait bagay sa yo nan pays ici parce que tout bagay vraiment cher. So, et pour raison ça moun besoin al demander pour crédit dans premier place là. Mais si que ou son moun ou gen kob ou ka paye tout à fait pour compte ou crédit pas important ou ka arrêter souffler mais gen moun tant que moi même m'baka afford pour pour pas payer en l'air parce que m'pa vle crédit me descend bien bas. Okay? So, Vantage score là, yo bo deux scores, yo bo Vantage, yo bo FICO score. Ça c'est numéro ça yo utilisé pour approuver moun pour mortgage, pour approuver pour quelle n'importe qualité de crédit que vous avez appliqué pour lui. OK? Dans Vantage score là, si que numéro que vous utilisez crédit, Jean-Greg t'a expliqué, ça c'est 41% de credit score là. Okay, so the Vantage score, your utilization is 41% of your entire credit score. If you think about 100%, it's 41%. That makes that up, right? That's the utilization. So like Greg was saying, like if you have a credit card, the balance is $1,000 and you're using $700, you're at 75% that you're using this credit, which is not good. You know, you want to keep it down to under 25% to 30%, right? Kounya, yo genye balance là. Balance dans les mêmes, c'est 6%. Okay? Payment history, I'm sorry, the payment history is 41%. Utilization is 20%, and
Yes,
the balance is 6%. Okay? L'âge crédit ou, et puis est-ce que vous gagnez un paquet de qualité crédit, donc est-ce que c'est crédit card seulement gagne ou bien est-ce que vous gagnez crédit card ou gagnez ça les installment loan, ça c'est bill machine,
Yes.
est-ce que vous gagnez mortgage, je pense que ouais que vous gagnez une variété de crédits. OK, ça seulement deux c'est tant que 20% nier, et puis crédit que vous gagnez c'est 11%, nouveau crédit que l'on a acheté crédit, l'on a appliqué pour nouveau crédit, ça c'est simplement 2%. So that's the Vantage score, right?
Crédit, sous d'abord un crédit, ça plus grand, c'est l'équipe qui est important parce que ça veut dire ou avec mon yo plus et puis on prend soin crédit 4 ans ou bien machine ou paye machine ou prend soin de bien. So basically the older account that you have on your credit, it's better because say if it's one that you've had for 10 years versus one that you've had for 5 years, the 10-year one is going to be looked at as more prominent because you've been with them longer, you're loyal, and they trust you enough to keep you with them and they didn't have to close down your account or anything like that. So,
And then they also say it's not good to close accounts, right?
No.
If you li pa bon pour fermer account yo. Si que ou fin payer tant que bill machine ou fin payer li, ou pas doué encore, kounya y a fermé oui parce que ou pas doué encore. Mais y a rapporté li pour on l'autre 7 ans, gagne qui rapporté pour 10 ans. Que oui li account ça fermé, mais l'elle ouvrir et puis yo gagne toute histoire écrit chaque mois, chaque année, yo écrit tout, yo mettez un check mark, ça veut dire que oui ou t'es payé en l'air et ou t'es un account qui n'a good standing, il était dans bon standing ensemble avec monde qui t'a prêté l'argent. So
you know, it's like, as I was saying, it's important that they're saying that you're supposed to have a so-called good credit score.
yeah.
You know, so and the importance. I just kind of going to get back to that because we kind of jumped ahead but I want to get back to this point of why it's important to have a good credit score, because the fact is that without a good credit score, or with zero credit for that matter, they feel like they're taking more of a risk to loan to you.
Yeah.
So if by taking a big risk, they're going to charge you more to take that risk. So therefore, where you might be buying a $400,000 house, or you might be buying a $30,000 car, whatever the case may be, you're going to pay much more than that car is worth because of the interest rates and so forth and so on, because of your credit. If your credit's not up. Now, if your credit is at a higher, like 700 or above, then you're going to pay less.
Yes.
You know, because they feel better about giving you all that credit line.
Kind of like a reward.
Right, exactly, right.
You did well.
A
I
reward
have
for,
an example, right?
right.
It's right
Before
here.
you do that, you want to translate?
Oh yeah, li di kon sa li vreman important pou gen bon kredi. Paske lò gen bon kredi, lè ke ou aplike pou takou an machin ou bien pou an kay, wap paye mwen skob. Paske fòk ou sonje ke ou pal paye intere. Paske si kredi an ba, intere wap pi wò. E pi sa vle di ke yo ka mette kek $300, $500 an plus kob ki wap paye pou principal lan. Sa vle di ke li kouto plus kob pou achete bagay lan ke li ta koute ou si ke ou te gen bon kredi. Mwen gen yon ekzamp. Ok. Ekzamp mwen gen, si ke yon moun gen yon kredi score ki 580, e ba we? Kredi 4, e ba we? Si ke ou gen kredi 4, ou gen un credit score qui n'a mis dans 720 à 850. Ou après recevoir un rate qui 4%. Et puis balance à 5000. Ou pas gen aucun cob qui a ajouté sous lui additionnel parce que ou déjà dans rate qui pi bas dans 4%. Mais si que yon moun qui gagne un crédit qui 580, kounya rate qui a ba wan c'est 16%. Et puis balance ou c'est $5,000. Kounya y a pas ajouté $3,240 parce que crédit ou bas. Crédit ou c'est 580 ou paye 16% intérêt parce que crédit y en bas. Et puis moi besoin faire nous songer tout utilisation crédit ou gens que nous ka calculer. Tout le monde qui a fait ça pour nous mettre chercher plume écrit ça. Si que nous besoin connaître qui pourcentage n'a pas utilisé crédit. Si que vous gagnez un crédit card qui gagne en balance de $7,600 sur lui. OK? Et puis vous gagnez un crédit limite, ça veut dire limite point ou ka utiliser carte ça. Les $10,200. So on prend $7,600 divisé de $10,200 et puis on joindre numéro utilisation 75%. Li pas bon. Parce que qui ça noté tout à l'heure,
Vous voulez descendre,
vous voulez descendre li
23, 30%, ou même 25%.
25 à 30%.
Ouais.
OK?
In English?
Ça c'est exemple pour crédit card. Il y a tout exemple, il y a exemple pour Kai, il y a exemple pour tout bagay que vous avez acheter crédit. You want it in English? Go ahead.
I was going to say,
Knock
break
yourself
break
out.
that down in English for us.
So what Elna was saying is that, you know, someone who has a credit score of say 580 versus someone who has a credit score of 700, the person with 580 is going to pay a higher interest rate.
Right.
So say if they bought something for $10,000, you're going to end up paying more than what that $10,000 that you bought. So say if it's for a car, is going to be worth. What you're going to be paying more than what it's worth because you have a higher interest rate, because the creditor is taking, the lender, I'm sorry, is taking more of a risk on you versus someone who has a credit score of say 700 or above. They know their history, they've seen it, the person has worked hard to get that score, so they give them a lower interest rate. So you're not spending as much versus someone who is still basically working on building their credit.
So now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so what exactly is good credit? What's a good credit score?
Well-
so that is because they say good credit score versus bad credit score, right? But here it says that there's really no good or bad credit score,
Right.
Because every credit scoring model has its own unique range of scores.
That's
So
right.
generally, a higher score represents a lower risk, but in some models, a low score represents low risk. So a low score could be better. Even when companies use the same credit score model, they often have different lending criteria. So the same score might be considered good at one company but bad at another.
That's right.
Somebody help me understand.
Because they're looking at more than the number. They're looking at what's in the credit, right?
That's true.
We talked about what's in the credit. Did we talk about what's in the credit? Let's talk about what's in the credit.
There we
There's different things like, are there collections
Right.
in the credit, right?
Right.
Do you have like 102 inquiries on your credit, hard inquiries on your
Yes,
credit, which
right.
means that you're always shopping for credit, which makes you look like
Risky.
you're very risky.
Right.
Okay.
Very possession.
Do you have bankruptcies on your credit? Okay. And what about, are you like frivolously just opening and closing accounts? You know.
Okay. And Creole.
What about your debt to credit ratio?
Right. Right.
You know, these are the things that they're looking at, you know, or do you have late payments on your credit? Okay. That, you want to take Creole?
Yes. Ça, elle m'a expliqué qui ça qui ont bon crédit et puis qui ça qui ont bad credit. So, bon crédit, hein, c'est un monde là on lender a buy cob yo ka wè son moun ki ka pay ça yo besoin pay yo pay la lè yo pa gen late payment yo pa gen repossession comme si la ou achète une machine yo vinn pour machine parce que pas ka pay et puis what was the credit you explained that
Well, I was saying what's in the credit, because he was saying that they said that there's a difference between credit,
Right,
good and bad, and
right.
that to some companies a low credit score, they might offer credit to that person because they're looking at the whole picture, not just the number, you know.
The entire
It's
history.
what's in the credit report itself.
Yes.
Do you have collections? Do you have a whole bunch of inquiries? Do you have bankruptcies? Are you frivolously opening and closing accounts? You know, do you have late payments? Those types of things, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, ça, on a d'abord expliqué. C'est mon qui gagne un crédit. So, si tu as gagné un crédit à 700, et puis on gagne un crédit à 600. Mon qui gagne 600, pas fait paiement yo à l'air. Yo pas gagne late payment, yo pas gagne repossession. Si mon qui gagne 700, gagne comme si yo pas fait bon note sur crédit yo. Même moun n'a ka buy cop n'a ka garder moun qui gagne 700 comme si on moun yo ka buy cop parce que moun qui gagne 700 parce que yo ouais top risque avec moun qui gagne 700 parce qu'il a ouvert un account a fermé yo gagne machine yo vinn point yo pas ka dépend sur lui pour yo connaître pour yo ka payer.
Yes, that's right.
So,
So
okay.
I'm gonna read off because I want them to understand some of this stuff that's in the credit report, what
Okay.
credit bureaus are reporting, right?
Okay.
You have
Report,
you
which
have-
is important. Okay.
Right. You have mortgage accounts. What's a mortgage account? A mortgage account is a real estate transaction, right? You bought a house or you bought timeshare.
Right.
That's a mortgage
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Right? Or investment property. That's a mortgage, okay? And when you make those monthly payments, they report it to the credit bureau. This is the mortgage. So there's that type of credit, right? Then there's revolving accounts. You want to explain what mortgage is in Creole, or should I?
No, I can do it.
Go ahead.
Mortgage basically lo achète un kay comme nous payer sur kay là. So acheter un kay pour ou même comme si vous achetez kay là c'est pour mais ou même ou pas vivre dans kay là ou louer ça c'est un mortgage. So gain a timeshare comme si on kay ou acheter ou faire vacances ça c'est un mortgage lié ou faire payment sur lui c'est ça y a reporté dans crédit.
Revolving accounts. Revolving accounts are those that generally include a credit limit and require a minimum monthly payment, such as credit cards. So revolving accounts are like credit cards.
Revolving account, c'est un credit card qui est le plus bon exemple. Et ou acheter sur lui, ou faire paiement maintenant, et puis li desan. So achete sou li ankon ou itilize, nepot so ap itilize an, li monte li desan. That's
That's right.
revolving.
That's right.
Okay.
And then there are installment accounts. Installment accounts are loans that require monthly payments, such as your car notes or your student loans.
Yes. Installment account nan, se li sou achete an machin, wap peye sou li pou l ka desan li pou ka fin peye l. Li ka machin, student loans, or loan non bank ou mèm wade personal loan ou mèm.
Personal
ou
loan,
fè,
yeah.
So, what it boils down to, what it comes down to, is whenever you need to get a loan, if you're trying to take out a loan, it's important to find out what they're looking for, what they're looking for in your credit.
That's right.
In order to know if
I
you
would
can
even
get
go
that.
as far as to find out what credit
Who's
score
reporting.
are they looking
Exactly.
for to approve?
Right,
Because
right.
if you know you don't have that credit score that they're looking for, why put that inquiry on your? Because when you do an
That's what I was
inquiry,
getting-
a
yes.
hard inquiry will
Right,
stay
right.
on your credit report for 2 years.
Exactly, that was my
Okay,
point.
2 years.
It can. There's ways of getting things taken off, but it can.
Yes.
And if you create,
So, lò konen ou wap al achete yon bagay. Se yon machin, se se mortgage nan, se se yon kay, chache konen si ou kredi yon ou gen yon, se yon li yap aksepte. Se yon pa pa aksepte l, ou pa men bezon ale, ay mande, kontine travay sou li, fè payment nan, paye tout bagay ale, pa miss payment nan anyen, paske sou konen, ok, mwen bezwen 10% plus, pas 10%, 10 points plus, et pour me qualifier pour yon ka bon comme nan, travail sur lui, monter 10%, 15%, 20 points, 10 points, ça on besoin pour qualifier.
Si que nous besoin d'aide pour nous nettoyer crédit nous mettre le Greg, le Elna, n'a dit nous qui pour nous faire ça. Nous gagnons numéro de téléphone Greg avec Elna.
Yeah.
Est-ce que nous gagnons my number?
What's the
Numéro de
word?
téléphone est 732.
and she jumped right ahead of me, but that's good. Go ahead.
You have our numbers?
No, I don't have it here. I was just, you took my slide off of here, so I was just looking for the
732,
information.
you
Yes.
88, right Greg?
Yes.
2344 2344. That's my number. I don't
Yes,
remember
yes,
my
I believe
number.
That's not good, not good.
My business number, I don't remember.
Mine is 848-456-0573, 858-456-0573.
Listen, I just want you guys to know that you're listening to WYGG, it's your Good News Radio. Anything that you hear or that you find here, feel free to give us a call. Feel free to give us a call, ask any questions, or to get any information that you need. As we're saying that we're sitting here talking right now with Eleanor Montgomery and Greg Jean. I'm sorry. I had a brain fart for a minute. But listen, if you have any questions for them, you can call us right here on air at 732-775-0220 or at 732-775-0225. I just want to add that if you have credit card or credit issues or credit information that you need, if you need somebody to help you to build your credit, Elna is also offering services to help you do that. If you have inquiries on your credit and you want to get those things taken off, whatever, they can help you with that as well, right?
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
I do have to say this because I did have a conversation with someone earlier this week. They eventually want to buy a house. You know, they said like they feel that they're about a year out. And one of the concerns was they didn't want their credit ran because they were concerned about the debt to income ratio. And I had to explain to them, you know, when it comes to the debt to income ratio, they think that any debt that they have, they're not going to get approved for a loan. And I explained to them that is not true.
No, that's not true.
When they look at the debt to income ratio, it's what you're grossing, what is coming in, you know, what you're being paid.
Debt to income.
Yes.
Right.
So, and the debt that you have. If the debt is more than, I think, 40.
Okay, when you say in debt, that means your
Money
payments
that's
that's
you
going
owe.
out. Right,
Yes.
exactly.
Money
Okay, go
that
on.
you owe. So say anything that you're paying for, that
Right.
is a credit card, a car note,
Right, right.
anything that you owe,
Right.
That is reported
Your
on your
bills
credit score.
and such,
Exactly.
right.
They look at that, even your phone bill for some. They look at that, and as long as your debt is not more than, it doesn't exceed, I want to say 40 to 45 or 48%, somewhere around there. It can't exceed more than that. But just because you have debt, but if it's low, again, we're talking about low, so think of when you have a credit card.
Right.
As long as it's under 30 to 25%, you're
Right.
fine. So the same for any debt that you may have. If it's under, below 40%, there's no reason why you can't get approved.
In Creole?
That's right. So Greg
In
was
Creole?
Greg t'a discuté importance pour nous là qu'il a parlé de qui debt to credit ratio, ça veut dire que combien cob que ou doit et puis combien cob que ou gagne disponible pour utiliser, et ouais. So yo garder combien cob que ou entrer en de là. Et puis, qui capacité que vous gagnez pour payer comme que vous doit. So, c'est vraiment important pour balancer le temps pour so doit pour en bas et puis so gagner pour utiliser li en haut et comme ça. Si le comme ça, yo pas pouvoir. Si le comme ça, y a pas pouvoir. Okay?
Kind of like when you go buy a car. You can have a job, but if the job that you have, you don't make enough, they can't approve you for the
Right.
loan.
That's right.
They have to show that, yes, the person can make a payment, and they're not going to fall behind. They're not going to, be late. They're going to pay it off in the time that they agreed to pay it off.
Et puis c'est comme ça lié tout l'or pour acheter caille, parce que vous pas voulez prêter l'argent pour acheter un caille qui $600,000 et puis vous fait $50,000 par année. Ça li pas parce que payment $600,000. How much is it going to be? Like $3,000, almost
$4,000, yeah.
$5,000.
Probably $5,000, yeah.
$5,000, like $5,000 pour payer. Ou pas entrer $5,000. Qui sont pas le faire?
On se rentre, on va pas faire rien. On va
pas
pas
faire
manger,
rien,
on va pas
manger
payer
rien.
bill, on va pas payer bill lumière,
Yeah.
bill l'autre n'importe quoi ça.
So I found my number and I was right. It's the same number. So si nous besoin éducation aide pour nous nettoyer information qui sous crédit nous pour nous monter numéro crédit nous mettre 732 888 898 23 44 732 898 23 44. So were we talking about what's in the credit report, because we're almost out of time. We're
Yes,
gonna have to come
exactly.
back
And do
next
this.
time and do it again.
Which brings me to the point, which is something that I was just going to say we have a little bit less than 10 minutes left. So I wanted to go into the fact that the point of that, the credit history and the behaviors form the basis of your credit score. So they look at your basis, they look at the basis of, they look at your habits, your performance, how you pay your bills, and how if you're paying them late all the time, or if you're paying them on time all the time, or if there's a fluctuation in between and the reasons why. They look at things like that. So if you've done all these things, or you're doing these things, these are the things that they're also looking at.
Yes.
Creole?
Yeah.
Yes, so ça, Joseph expliqué, c'est habit, ça
Habitude.
Yes, habitude, ça payer, ça fait avec crédit. Comme si sous payer là, sous pas en retard, sous payer plus que ça doit. C'est habitude ça regarder.
Okay, and I'll break that down, Greg. If you could just pay attention, so you could say this in Creole, right? So habitude or habits of the credit score, right?
Right,
That's
right.
what they're looking at.
Right.
So the length of credit history makes up for 15% of your FICO score, right? Your payment history makes up 35% of your FICO score. That's the most, because the next highest is the total debt, how much money you owe. That makes up 30% of your FICO score. And then new or recent credit makes up 10% of your FICO score. And then the types of credit, the variety of credit that you have, makes up for 10% of your FICO score. So if you don't do anything else, make sure you're paying your bills on time, and then make sure you're keeping your debt low.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Also, is your son? Okay.
Creole. He's gonna say it in Creole.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ça, elle n'a pas expliqué, hein, et histoire crédit, il fait pour 15% et puis ça, your FICO score. Et puis, histoire paye maintenant, comme s'ils sont payés, et chaque mois, fait 30%. Pour FICO score. 35%, pardon, pour FICO score. Et puis, dette là, sont doués, fait 30%, reporter dans FICO score. Et puis, genre de crédit ou gain, c'est crédit card, c'est loan, yo reporter comme 10% pour FICO score. Et puis, nouveau crédit ou travail ouvert, c'est fait 10%.
That's
FICO
right.
score.
Very
That's
good.
right.
Very good. So now, this is what all of our last 5 minutes that we have, or 4 minutes. That's my board man is telling me. We have 4 minutes left. So in this, of course, what the main thing that our listeners want to know right now is how to build your credit score from scratch. If you're coming from scratch, how do you build your credit score? And I understand that there's some simple ways you can do so to build it fast. You can, and one of them is try your best to, as we mentioned before, is to make all your credit card payments on time and use less than 30% of your credit line. But even if you don't have a credit card, like we just got finished talking about in this, or just before this, is the fact that you want to try your best to make all your payments of your bills and things on time as much as possible.
And some people don't like getting credit cards because I guess
Right.
it's like a trust thing. They
Right,
don't trust
yes.
themselves with a credit card.
Not only that,
So
go ahead.
they don't want to too much get it. But if you want to build credit, that's the way to start. Because even with, especially Capital One, they'll approve anyone with a $500 to start off, or or they'll even give you like a secured card. Like let's say if your credit is like really down in the dumps. Right. You have no established credit. They don't know who you are. They don't know your ability to pay back. So they will let you start with a secured credit card where they'll say, okay, we will give you a credit card, but you will have to fund it. So you could put $200 down or $300 down or $500 down, and that's going to be your available credit, what the money that you put into it. And then you can start showing them, okay, I'm gonna put this $500, that's gonna be my line of credit, and then I'm gonna, I don't know, put your Netflix bill on it, right?
Exactly.
Put it on auto. So it can auto renew every month, it's coming out.
Pay it out.
And then you
Right.
pay that
It pays out
bill,
every month,
every month on time. Now Capital One is like, oh, okay, this person is good. They're paying,
Right. They can
they're
be trusted.
responsible. I can trust them.
Right.
Now you're no longer secured. You have an unsecured line. They're going to give you an unsecured. And Capital One is really good where they're going to every 6 months evaluate they're going to evaluate you and tell you, okay, you're doing better. Let me approve you for some more, give you a higher line of credit.
Some credit card companies are good at that.
Some are good.
Capital One some free advertising.
Sorry, Capital One.
Yes.
Sorry.
Many credit cards will definitely look at it and say,
Yeah.
okay, we trust you, you've been doing well,
Yes.
we can increase your credit limit.
Yeah.
So what it is that you've invested into the credit card, you will give back sometimes will.
Yeah.
And like we said, if you want to get more information or find out what credit card companies and other people or how to do so, you wanted to get in touch with Greg Jean and Elna Montgomery, and they will help you with this information. So there are a couple of ways here. 3 of them we're going to run through right quick. One is apply for a secured credit card, like we were just talking about, right? Okay, so, and Sherry explained how that will help you. You're just saying that that company will be looking at you like that, but not just that company, but other credit or lenders will look at that history and say, oh, okay, so you are trustworthy and we can trust you to lend money to because you have a history of paying your things back and paying back
Yes.
on time. Another one is get a cosigner.
Yes.
Who wants to take that?
A lot of people will, get a cosigner or, and have them assist them, someone with better credit,
Right,
will
right.
have them, get a cosigner so that they can get approved for what it is that they need. Or even better, say if someone who has a credit card can put someone who needs to establish a credit, put them as an authorized user.
Right.
It will actually help that person build their credit. You don't have to give them the credit card, but as you make payments on it, if you're someone who does well with credit and you make payments on it, it'll boost your credit score, of course, but it'll boost the other person's credit score as well.
Awesome, and which is good is a two-way street. Then is it good for both people?
So let me tell them in Creole real quick how to build credit. Si ke nou bezwen grandi kredi nou, etabli kredi, bon kredi, genyen kek kompanyi ki ka bay kredi card ki sekure, sa vle di ke ou mem wap mette kob lan, epi kob ki ou mette an se li mem kap kredi limit ou ke ou genyen pou itilize. Epi lo etabli kredi ansam avek yo, ya vin ba ou en ligne ki pa sekire, sa vle di ke se yo mem kap prete ou kob lan. Epi genyen kek moun tou ki kon gen yon moun ki siyen pou yo ele sa co-signer. Moun sa li ka siyen pou yo, epi yo ka itilize kredi nan san sa. Epi Greg te di, si ke ou vle, ou pa bezwen bay moun nan kredi kad lan, men moun nan li mem, si se li mem li son bon moun ki kon pay bil li an le, li ka itilize kredi kad lan, men ou mem kredi wap monte paske li kontinye paye bil li. Gen moun ki pa fè sa konfians, yo pa vle co-sign paske se on risk li etou, paske si ki ou pa kon moun nan ka fè kredi ou vin desan ba, epi sa, it's going to be like the opposite of what you want. So
Yes.
not a lot of people like to use co-signers, right? Okay. Epi si ke wap lwe kay, ou ka mande pou landlord lan rapote kob ke ou peye chak mwa,
Sou kredi yo.
by kredi pou yo pou sa ka monte kredi yo. And now there's ways, I think it's Experian, I'm not sure. Your utility bills, they can use them too.
Yes.
Like you pay your nobody wants to be without lights, okay, or air conditioning. So people pay these things. They pay for their lights, their gas. They like to cook their food, so they make sure that's on. They like heat, I say me bon ti chauffage nan freti. You pay bill gaz la, bill lumière. Yo ka rapote sa bay kredi bouillon tout pour kredi an komanse grandi.
Oui.
Nan pale plus sou sa an lot lè paske nou gon paket informasyon ke nou pa pataje paske nou pa gen tan.
So, quickly, since we're out of time, but there's one last thing we want to talk about real quick, which is landlord reporting. So, which is not often always on your credit report. So, but you can have it so your landlord reports your payments to as credit, right?
Yes.
It reports to your lender.
That's
So
right.
this shows the lender how responsible you are, and you can request that your landlord report your payment history to credit agencies. This is a great option to begin building credit without applying for a loan or a card.
Yes.
So how good is that?
It's beneficial, especially when you go out and want to get to that point and buy a house. So say if you show, hey, this is where they was living, they made their payments on time every
Right.
month without any issues, so, they're obviously, we can trust them and depend on them to make their payments on time, and we won't be affected by it.
So without even going for a loan or getting a card, you can actually use your rent as collateral, or should I say, as reporting to let them know that I am paying your rent, paying your bills, and so forth and so on, and that lets them know that they're how readily would a loan agency give to somebody like that?
typically they look at it. You can let them know, especially when they pull the report, they'll
Yes.
see it.
Okay.
So by looking at it and seeing it, they'll, say, okay, this person is dependable. This is how long they've been there. Talking about establishing good credit.
Right.
Most people rent for quite some time.
Right.
So if it shows that, hey, they've been here for X amount of time, this is how long they've been paying rent, and there hasn't been any bad notes. They've all been check marks, green
Right.
check marks.
Mhm.
Then it'll show that, hey, we can lend money
Awesome.
to this person.
Awesome. Well, listeners, you are listening to WYGG, Good News Radio. Pretty soon we're going to have T-shirts for you and other memorabilia that will say GNRL. Not just Good News
GNR.
Radio, but GNRL. I am a general. You are a general.
Oh.
I'm a Good News Radio listener.
That's
Are
right.
you? That's what your
That's
T-shirt is going to say.
right.
It's going to be very nice T-shirts.
Oh,
and
my
we're
sister
going
can
to
hear one because she's always listening. Shout out to my sister
Shout-
Claire.
shout
Claire,
out to
I love you, baby.
yes, we do, and we love all our listeners. So we want all of our listeners to be generals. All of our
That's
listeners
right.
and to promote the station. We'll be putting these T-shirts out. This will be an ongoing fundraiser. It's going to be T-shirts and other memorabilia.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be some beautiful ones. We'll have ones that says "Faith" in the middle or down the side, and on this other side it'll have "I am a general" up on the breastplate. It's going to look very nice. And it's going
Nice.
to
I like
be
that.
stuff that's going to be, like I said, an ongoing fundraiser for the radio
radio
station.
station.
So
Oh, that's
when
good.
you buy, you're helping your community radio
That's
station
right,
get
because-
you more information and give you more things, resources that you need for our
That's
company.
right,
That's
because
right.
we can't stress it enough. The radio station is listener supported.
Exactly.
That means there's no hedge fund that's funding the
No.
radio station. There's no, although there should, there's no, political entity that's supporting. There's no grant, that's supporting. It's all listener supported. That means people who are listening, they like it and they want it to keep going. They're the ones sending their money so the lights can stay on, so the electricity could work, and so we could have the opportunity to come here and speak to families. And we are volunteering our time to do this. We're not getting paid to do this because we see that it's important. Just like, we see that it's important. We're giving back our time. We want people who are listening to appreciate it and to support the radio station.
Agreed.
Last but not least, there is going to be a huge surprise, because what we're going to be doing also is doing surprise packages. You will be able to call in and get a surprise package or amount, whatever, for a different type of programs that we're going to be putting on. You call in and answer questions. You call in. We want to have some fun with you, right? So
Yeah.
call in, have fun with us, win a prize. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
You can just call in and win a prize. Answer a question, win a prize.
Am I allowed to go outside and call in so I can win a
I
prize?
was
You
gonna
are
say-
you are not
I was
eligible.
gonna say that. Yeah, be on
Leave it
camera.
to little Miss Elder. You are not eligible.
I want to win a prize.
You cannot win. You are not eligible. So yes,
Oh my God.
we might even say it might be a simple thing as what shoes are Greg wearing today? If you call in and get the right answer, you could win a prize.
Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah, by all means, spread the word. We're about to blow Good News Radio Station up, and we're about to have a bunch of fun,
Yeah.
and it is going to be very beneficial, not only just in having fun, but having information and resources for all of our listeners.
That's right.
Thanks again. Thanks for listening. WYGG Radio, Good News Radio. We are here for you. Good evening. Love you. Have a great weekend.
God bless.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We all can agree that Raising a family in these times is challenging. With everything being so exposed and accessible through social media and the influence that come along with it, how do we find the balance? Does your child feel confined and has no outlet?
Sasha, meet me in the bathroom so we can take our Instagram pics, because you know once I get home they won't let me out.
Would your child come to you when they need help?
Mom, I'm in trouble and I don't know what to do.
Do you know the signs when your child is crying out for help?
Nicholson, you don't listen. The school has called me and now I have to attend another school meeting. This time you lose your video games for 2 months.
Do you and your family need access to resources?
I lost my job. How will we get our bills paid?
Does your family have expectations and boundaries for mutual respect and understanding?
I am the man of the house, but my family does not respect me.
Finally, a show where families can feel supported and get resources for guidance during these troubled times. Presented to you by Good News Community Action. Family Matters, a radio show, aired every Saturday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. A new segment discussing all things and situations relating to families. Family Matter Discussions, a radio show for everyone to listen together.
This is WYGG, the local radio from Asbury Park.